Hello, fellow aviators. Grab some coffee and join us in celebrating these amazing accomplishments in aviation by builders and pilots. Welcome to Katie's Report. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'd like to invite you in celebrating 2 recent completions and first flights. In this week's episode, we hear from Steve Thorne, better known as FlightChops, who built Van's RV14 with a team of Canadians, and Robbie Staton of Airtech Coatings that built a Javron Cub in Arkansas. First, let's check out FlightChops with his RV14.
So my name is Steve. I got a YouTube channel called FlightChops, and this is a Van's aircraft RV14 that we just spent the past 2 years building. And in a unique situation, I was also documenting the build, so trying to do both of those things. So I had kind of a team of Canadian retired engineers helping me build it at a museum. Unique situation, but we did get it done. I think my guys are disappointed that it actually took 2 calendar years because we lost about 6 months due to COVID type stuff. They were pretty confident from the start that we could do it in 18. I think we could have based on the pace they were going at when we were on it.
Was this your very first time building a kit airplane? And what was the most challenging part of the build?
Well, yeah, this kit is very, I've never done this before, but the idea that things just went together almost like Lego largely. I think the hardest thing to do was the cowl with the fiberglass work and the canopy were 2 things that required, actually drilling and lining things up. It's noisy airplanes. So otherwise, match drilled aluminum. I mean, when we put the wings on, I had a friend that built an RV8. He saw that episode and he said, that's like editing cheating, right? It wasn't that easy, right? But it actually was. This thing just went together and the pins all slid in and it just lined up. No problem. Tight, close tolerances and amazing. So as a new builder, this was an amazing kit to build. It's not as fast as some of the other kits that have pull rivets to build, but it's fast to fly because it has flush rivets. So it takes longer to do, but that's, you get what you pay for kind of thing in terms of labor.
What part of the build was the most enjoyable or most fun for you?
Well, I think just seeing the main components come together was the funnest. It's not an airplane until suddenly it's an airplane. So seeing the wings go on, seeing the engine go on, prop get hung, those things, just all of a sudden it went from being a pile of aluminum on a table to whoa, that's an airplane and I'm gonna be sitting in it.
So being this was your first build, now that you've completed it, do you think you would do it again?
So this is my first build, and I just want to fly for a while before I get into thinking of another build. I like the process, but I'm a pilot. I think a lot of people talk about you're a builder or you're a pilot. Some guys say I'm both. I'm definitely a pilot. I enjoyed learning about this, but I just want to fly it for now and not think about rivets for a while.
There are many aircraft kit options out there. Are there any other ones that you considered, and what made you land on the RV14?
So I've been carrying around a picture of an RV7 since 2001. Let's see if I can find it. This picture here, I was proud of my inkjet printer in 2001. And I cut this out, put it in my wallet. It's got stains on it from fishing trips when I fell in the water with my wallet. The idea of make your goal physical and tangible, stick it on your wall or whatever. For me, that was that. When I saw that airplane when they released the RV7 in 2001, I've been flying Cessnas and knew I couldn't afford a new certified aircraft. And I also, when I saw kit aircraft in those days, it was very painfully obvious they were kit aircraft. When I saw these things, I was like, what? It's a bubble canopy, stick, low wing, aerobatic, flush rivets. That's an airplane, man. That is, and it's attainable. It's not insanely expensive. So I've been wanting one of these for 20 years.
Engines, always a hot topic and a personal decision. Which one did you choose, and how about your avionics?
So this is the Lycoming IO390 Thunderbolt, and we got the EXP 119 new finishing kit with dual exhaust and a sealed up lower cowl with a cowl flap. So it's really well thought out, sleek and slippery, but also we can cool it really well. Lots of power there. It's a hot rod, and when it's idling, it sounds like a hot rod. It's awesome. It doesn't low idle. It's really lumpy, and you're riding in a race car. And the avionics are all Garmin, so I'm pretty proud to be rocking a panel that's so insanely capable. It's going to take me a long time to just learn all the insane abilities it's got.
First flights can be a really emotional and an exciting experience. What was your first flight like in your new RV14?
Yeah, to be flying the aircraft that you intimately knew every part of was pretty cool. Yeah, it was surreal, honestly. I think largely my experience was, holy crap, this thing's fast. Like the airplane that I'm flying mostly right now is a T6, so it's not fast and it comes down like a ton of bricks. So my first attempts, so the problem was because we're breaking this thing in, like you got to leave the power settings high. So you're out there like fast, doing circles for 3 hours, and then you come back in and land. I didn't get to practice pattern work, so my first couple of attempts I was too tight and too fast because I'm still like in T6 mode in my head. And this thing, you know, I didn't want to pull the power way back, but also just to slow it down anyway is like, you know, you got to really be thinking of fair ways out because it's coming in at like $170 and you got to get down below 100 to get the flaps out.
With any aircraft, bought or built, there's typically a mission in mind in using the aircraft. What will your mission be, Steve?
So the primary mission for the airplane is going to be for me to just get around to do all the crazy stuff that I do. I'm lucky to be in a position to meet a lot of people and fly different things and go different places, and I usually would use airlines to get there. So all over North America, this is going to get me there in almost the same amount of time, honestly. It's so fast that when you stop thinking about like connectors and security and customs, all the hours and hours you spend sitting around waiting for your airliner, I'll be able to get across the country in similar amounts of time, like, you know, maybe 50% longer air time or whatever, but it's so fast that that's going to be great for that. It'll do aerobatics, which is something that's significantly important to me to be able to do. Like when I first learned how to, or before I learned how to fly, my flying dreams were clouds and upside down, both of which, as soon as you get your VFR pilot license, it's like stay away from clouds and don't go upside down in the Cessna. So I was like, what? So to get an airplane that I'm going to bust through clouds, fly IFR, but then I can also flick my fun switch on the panel, turn off the electronic stability protection, and fly upside down. That's the mission. It's also going to be a support aircraft for the museum that I fly with so that the other Yellowbird pilots, like I'm honored to be a Yellowbird pilot and have access to the warbirds there, so I definitely want to share this with the crew. So those guys can all get checked out on it, and then we'll fly it around to different events that we go to with the warbirds. It'll be a support plane to bring crew back and forth. They'll scout ahead and just bring the mission of the museum to places that we can't necessarily get our fleet, like here. That's the biggest brand on the plane is the Canadian Aviation Museum. They're kind of the lead sponsor of the thing, as you know, in terms of the support that it took to make it happen. So I absolutely want to carry that story forward and use this airplane to do it.
All right, I'm gonna take a few more sips of my coffee before I introduce you to our sponsors who made all of this possible. Introducing Dynon Avionics at DynonAvionics.com. Airtech Coatings at AirTechCoatings.com. AviNation at AviNationUSA.com. Airworx at AirworxAviation.com. And visit our website at ExperimentalAircraftChannel.com for events, our video library, arranged in easy-to-find playlists on specific topics, affiliate products, aviation merchandise, and so much more. Find clickable links below to our sponsors and special offers available to you. If you like these videos that we're producing weekly, hit that like button and do all the things so you don't miss a single episode. Thank you, Steve Thorne, for sharing your amazing accomplishment with us. Next up is Robbie Staton with his Javron Cub.
Hey Katie, this is Robbie Staton from Lone Oak, Arkansas, and just finished my plane experimental. It's a Javron Cub. I'm actually doing this at Oshkosh. What better place to do it than Oshkosh? I mean, this is just a good place and got a little airplane noise and everything going on in the background. Let me just do a little quick walk around and tell you what I did on the plane.
Thank you, Robbie. I've never heard of a Javron Cub before. Can you tell us about some of the custom work you did and which engine and prop you chose?
Like I mentioned, it's a Javron Super Cub, which is derived from a Javron kit. And when you call them, they will do whatever mod you want if you want different things done, but it's based on the Piper drawings. And I've built a few Super Cubs, you know, before, and I wanted to do an experimental to do things I wanted to. So starting at the front, I chose Cato as my prop. It's lightweight, it's kind of a proven design that people go to. There's several other things coming about that people like, but I've used these before and they're really light, and that's what I chose. Moving back, a lot of things I've done on the plane, tried to save weight on, but I didn't want to take away from the plane. I didn't want to make a purpose-built STOL plane, but I wanted it, you know, as light as possible, but still have large baggage and things. So I went with a carbon fiber on the cowling. The engine's an ECI 0370, makes about 190 horsepower. Did all the things I could do inside the cow to save weight. So it runs real well. We barely got the 40 hours off. This plane is just about a month old. I mean,
We are seeing a lot of aftermarket, backcountry modifications for these kinds of aircraft. Which suspension and tires will you be using?
Moving back, I went with 6-inch extended gear just to change your angle of attack. And Acme, I went with their shock system as well as their tail system. That's something that makes me look like a better pilot landing. I mean, they're just like throwing a Velcro tennis ball to on the ground and it's sticking. Naturally, 31-inch tires, and the people that do tire stickers, I sent them a font. They kind of did a little trick there. As some people know, I own Airtech Coatings fabric system, and that's just something I kind of did for a representation.
What performance modifications did you install to your Cub to add to its wow factor?
But moving back, I have the long wing version, which has the 4 aileron hinge that's moved all the way out. Got carbon fiber in the leading edges. I've got Alaska Airframes lift struts, saved about 15 pounds. So I guess the best option I did on the plane was the 90-inch P-stow flaps. They really steepen up the angle coming in and slow it down a little more. The entire aircraft, naturally, I covered it in an Airtech system, and I did the double cover system, which is just kind of a neat look we do on aerobatic planes that has no tapes on it. So just kind of chose a color that was just different. I wanted to try something different. So, you know, this is kind of a turquoise that derived from a Montego green that you'll see on the early Pipers. I had him do the A model version, which is the flat back. You know, some of the guys up Alaska, they always used to say that the flat back planes, you know, with this part flew a little better, they thought. So I'm from Arkansas, and most of the planes was crop dusters back in the day. Just has that look. More carbon fiber stuff, tank covers and everything.
Tell us about your instrument panel and your custom interior.
I'm a round instrument guy, but I wanted constantly to try something new on the interior. I made it as light as I could, but Dynon did my wiring for my G3, and I installed everything up there. I built a carbon dash and everything, titanium seat to save weight, headliner. Me and my wife sewed that up with 101 fabric, just to be as light as I could, but it does have the long baggage and the wide body and the flaps, so some weight gains, but I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to get back home and start playing with it.
Robbie, you had mentioned that you had built several aircraft before. In your experience, what is the most enjoyable part of building aircraft?
People ask me why did I choose Javron kit, and you know, I've built several different kits, and you know, their workmanship with their kit is just great. I've actually got about 800 hours in this plane, but I've covered planes before, so I didn't have to learn to do covering and things, which speeded things up. And I'm not really a perfectionist, so when something gets what I call good enough, I move on with it, just make it good and safe. I guess the funnest thing about the Javron build is nowadays the internet. You can enter a group of people that's only Javron or only build groups, meeting different people building Javrons, coming to you for what you've did, going to them, and just, you know, you're creating a whole family at that point. That, you know, I'm here at Oshkosh running the Airtech booth, and I have people come up, shake hand, they've seen my videos with Airtech, or it's someone that we've talked for the last year in a group that I haven't met, that they're building a Javron. So it just kind of puts all the Stoll people and the Super Cub people together and just meeting new people, and that's the fun part of it, I guess.
Thank you, Robbie, for sharing the details of your beautiful Javron Cub with us. If you want to learn more about either this Javron Cub kit or the Vans RV14, check out the links below this video. And if you would like to be featured on Katie's report, send me a message to info@experimentalaircraftchannel.com. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Please consider becoming a subscriber and also hit that like button while you're at it. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to connect socially. I'll see you in the next episode here on the Experimental Aircraft Channel.